Hi, I'm Tommi Vincent, your host of In Her Words podcast. And today, joining me at the table, I have Leslie Satchell. And Leslie is an entrepreneur.
I am.
However, entrepreneur does not encapsulate all that you do, because you are leaving your fingerprint on the world of sports. So talk to us about what is this fingerprint, what is this work that you're doing in the world of sports?
Most of my work has been around helping athletes and professionals who work in sports and trying to help them figure out how to be their best selves, right? And so I'm a teacher by trade. My first job was a third grade teacher. I don't know if you knew that. I used to be a teacher. And I think it just prepared me for a love of learning and teaching and helping people make another step in their lives, right? So for third graders, it was learning math and science, right? But for athletes, it may be learning how to navigate the world of the NFL so that they can make the most out of their experience. So I was a track athlete a long time ago at UVA, and I think I realized the power of sports and the platform that it gives. And I just help everybody who's a part of it really maximize the experience professionally, but also personally as well.
Mm-hmm. So being a collegiate athlete, how has those skills transferred over into your work as an adult? Because the skills are so transferable, and I think sometimes that when young people are in it, that they don't recognize that what you're learning isn't just about what you're doing on the field or on the court or whatever sport it is you're participating in.
Right.
You literally are learning life skills that are going to work for you when you become an adult outside of the sport.
I think for me, the biggest lesson was balance, like figuring out what balance looked like. I went to the University of Virginia. The academic rigor was a real thing, right? So I had to figure out how to be successful in the classroom, but I also wanted to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to be successful on the track. And so I taught classes while I was at UVA. I pledged a sorority while I was at UVA. I was the president of the sorority at one point. I gave tours of the university. I was just doing other things to try to maximize my experience. And I think it taught me that in life, you have to have balance, right? I think your success in one space can transfer over into another space, regardless of what it is. And so for me, it was important to not be one-dimensional and just be this athlete who ran track and went to the weight room and hung around only my teammates. So I tried really hard to expand my thinking and expand my experiences at UVA so that I could have a really balanced experience. So I came out of there with some lifelong friends and some lessons about how to manage my life that I still kind of use today around balance. So I love football, but I do other things too. I do other things too.
So Leslie, you have had a period of your career that you spent with the NFLPA and player development. And then now you're doing some consulting work with the National Football League and player engagement. So you've had an opportunity to experience the NFL world on two sides of the coin, if you will, on both sides of the coin. And from your experience in that and in your development of individuals looking to get into the front office, what are you utilizing to bridge the worlds together to make your work really impactful?
That's a very hard question. There are not too many people who have worked on both sides.
Absolutely.
Right? So I'm grateful.
You're a unicorn.
I am a unicorn in that way. I'm grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
I think there were good and bad things. I mean, not bad, but challenges on both sides, right? And I think perspective is important. You know, when I talk to people say, "Ooh, I hate the NFL," or have a really bad experience for something that happened to them while they were in the NFL, I try to add perspective in terms of the good things that the NFL does for their players and their employees. And the NFLPA has their own challenges as well. So I just think my perspective is balance, one of balance. I go back to balance again because I've seen both sides. I think they're incredible organizations that have a lot to offer. You just have to figure out where you fit in and how to best utilize what's available to you.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, they don't really know what's available to them because they live in a space where they're very focused on their own experience and their own needs, or they're not doing this, or I need more of this. But it really is there for the taking. You just have to kind of go look for it.
Yeah, and because you are this unicorn, if you will, in this space, it's such a gift to this world. When I say this world, I'm talking about the NFL world, because it's like it really becomes its own like little community, because it's like there's so many people in it, but at the end of the day, it's really small.
Well, it is.
And so you have this experience, this institutional knowledge that you're bringing into the space. And so you truly have the ability to move the needles by simply having conversations with individuals and using your influence, because you have that institutional knowledge in the space.
And the relationships, really. Because I'm surprised at the people, even when coming to Super Bowl, like the people that I worked with 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, and how all the worlds can kind of collide now. And I'm able to help my clients by making an introduction to people, or help players by introducing them to people and having them get perspective on things that I can't even give them.
Yeah.
But if I don't know it, I know somebody who does know it. So that's a benefit of being around for so long, and understanding the landscape and just having really good relationships. And I'm grateful for that. I've learned a lot from myself personally, but also I've learned a lot that I'm able to share with other people.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because everybody doesn't understand the importance of cultivating relationships, and they may walk into situations, especially if you're looking at something as combative, like, sometimes players they come in based off of just kind of what people say about the NFL. Like, so if you're a player, you're thinking like it's the NFL, you versus the NFL. But there's relationships there.
Yeah.
And these relationships go full circle. So just like you were at one time at the NFLPA, now you're doing work on the other side with the NFL as a consultant. The importance of cultivating these relationships is beyond anything you could ever imagine, because as you continue to mature and grow and the years go by, you're going to see these people again.
Absolutely. And you be careful how you treat people, right? And I remember everybody wasn't so nice to me, right? But, I come from a place where my mom taught me a few things, and I tried to be above board, even when I was treated unfairly, a lot of times. As a woman, sometimes you get the short end of a stick in this space.
Yeah.
As a person of color, sometimes it's the same thing. And so I just try to be very optimistic. This is like my 18th Super Bowl, I think. So I've been around a long time. And everybody can't say that, And so I know that I'm doing something right, at least in terms of the relationships I've been able to build. And I'm a people person, and I like people, and I try to find the best in people and to figure out, how can we help each other. I'm not a taker all the time. I might need something from you, but I'm also looking at what can I give you? What kind of value can I provide for your plight in the NFL or your goals and desires? How can I help you too? And I think that's important.
So what's next?
Only God knows what's next. I'm really enjoying this work. I pivoted a bit. I'm doing work with players still and on the policy around education for player engagement at the NFL, but I'm doing a lot more work in football ops with helping front office candidates and coaches get ready for interviews, and just to think about what their value is and help people, see that. Seen some of your podcasts and the things that you do with everyday people and trying to figure out what's your value and trying to give people voice. And I think a lot of times in sports, it's a big multi-billion-dollar operation. Some people kind of get lost in the shuffle. There's some really brilliant, amazing talent in the NFL that has yet to be discovered, right? And so I'm working with folks and trying to help give them voice and help them find power and the value that they have and their unique stories and experiences. And it's been rewarding in a different way than it was working with players. And we're able to see it kind of live out real time around the diversity issues in the league and the kind of things that we're doing. So I think that's kind of the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of already into the next thing right now, and so just looking forward to seeing that grow.
Okay. So in this segment of our conversation, I'm bringing her to the table with me. And this is your opportunity to give another woman her verbal flowers, for you know you would not be where you are in your journey, the journey of your career, without her fingerprint on your life.
Oh, that's very easy. Kimberly Fields.
Oh.
So Kim and I, she's a year older than me, but we were teammates at UVA.
Okay.
We're sorority sisters. We are friends. My first job at the NFL as an intern, I worked in her department. I could not afford to live in New York at the time because it was very expensive. I slept on her sofa, and she let me sleep there for a long time. And she was, she was kind of newly married, and I was kind of like, what we eating for dinner?
Hey, y'all.
What we watching tonight? So, she embraced me, in a way that allowed me the space to grow and build my own relationships. And I'm grateful for that, because had it not been for her grace and her graciousness, I would not have been able to find my way in the NFL. So I really appreciate her. And I don't tell her enough, probably. So I hope she's watching this. I love you, Kim. Yeah. So,
I love it. I love it. But Leslie, I'm so grateful that you took some time to join me at the In Her Words table.
It's overdue, Tommi. I've seen a lot of people. And I was like, I wonder when Tommy's going to ask me to be on her podcast.
Listen, do not think you were not on my list, because you've always been on my list. And today it worked out even perfectly, because you're actually on set with me, where it's not a virtual conversation.
Yes.
You and I are sitting next to each other, and it could not have worked out any better.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I'll do it again when you call me. Anytime.
How can people follow you?
LinkedIn is probably the best way now. Our social media, which is a cardinal sin, it's not really active right now because we're going through a branding change. But the name of the company is Stretch First, right? So if you think about yoga and stretching, you need to do it all the time and to be able to stay limber and be able to compete, right? And some of our skills, we just kind of sit on them at some point, and then you try it again and you're stiff. So my job is to help people stretch themselves, stretch higher, reach for more, and be able to be their best version of themselves. So before you do anything, you should stretch first.
I love that. I love that. So listen, I'm grateful that you took the time to stay a while with me today.
Okay.
And just know you are welcome at the In Her Words table anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I wanna stay a while.